to be remembered, to have that kind of non-death, that we are never forgotten. That's another way that we live. So I believe that through my writing, and I wanted to share a poem just to give you a few ideas. In Grover Canyon, oak leaves curl gold, and the stripped hills are brown. Café con leche, children playing tug of war on a dirt road. Earlier, your daughters laced pink silk roses over you, a century plant breathing high above the weeds and candles, a simple crucifix, plots and headstones, wild desert, a small piece of malachite on the gravel road stretching to you. This simple life, to get up at dawn, to make the long drive here, where I will pose among the dead, rearrange myself on top of you. This intimacy of fathers and daughters, history shaped from the center of the soul, late rain breathing all around us. The story work was prompted by my grandparents' family history. They were copper miners in Miami, Arizona, and I always thought that those stories told around the kitchen table in South Phoenix were fairy tales, because I never met my grandpa, the man that was the central character, who was killed in the copper mines at Inspiration in 1943, and he was 42 years old. So that was my question. What happened to him? Really, is it true? And secondly, if it happened to him, I wonder about the other families down there in the canyon in Miami, Arizona. So I went back to Miami and did an oral history project, and it was sponsored, thank you very much, by Arizona Humanities Council to get the seed money for getting a committee together, and we began the documentation of those stories with photos. And we found tons of pictures from Kelly's photo studio in Miami, Arizona, and those pictures all had stories. So I think that really was the beginning of knowing with no doubt that there is a story in that frame within the picture. So I became interested in family history and family history stories based on the stories that I heard in the cocina, the kitchen of my Nana Maria's house in South Phoenix, Marcos de Niza. So I wanted to share with you first a little bit about the history of a familia, a family, and this family is the familia from one of the families from Grover Canyon. The picture is Maria y Andres Magdaleno. These are my paternal grandparents from Mexico. My Nana Maria also grew up. She was a girl on a ranchito in Santa Maria, Jalisco, and my grandpa was from Aguascalientes. My grandmother was 17, and my grandpa started working as a copper miner for Inspiration Consolidated Copper. And so this is the picture that that really is a keepsake of the beginning of a journey, the journey to America. So these are the Bonilla sisters, and of course the women are the ones who took control and kept everything going. The men went to work, and the Bonilla sisters were just one example of family of women who really kept things going. And the day that the principal came into Miami High and walked and stood at the door, my aunt, my tia Rosario, she said, I knew it was bad, and when they called out my name, I said a prayer and said, I hope that it wasn't my mom, and God forgive me, because she said we couldn't do without our moms. And she said, of course it was my dad. It was my dad. He had been killed. It was Ash Wednesday, a meatless day, and he was crushed in underground mining. We all have a story. We all have a story.